Abraham Lincoln gave many speeches throughout his life, but his most famous speech related to democracy is the Gettysburg Address, which he delivered during the American Civil War. The Gettysburg Address was given on November 19, 1863, at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. In the speech, Lincoln reflected on the sacrifice of the soldiers who had fought and died in the Civil War, and he emphasized the importance of preserving the Union and the principles of democracy for which it stood. Lincoln's speech is remembered for its eloquence and its emphasis on the idea that all men are created equal, and that democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The address is also notable for its brevity, comprising just 272 words in total. Today, the Gettysburg Address is considered one of the most important speeches in American history, and it remains a symbol of the struggle for democracy and equality. 7 years ago our fathers brought forth, upon this continent, a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived, and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field, as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives, that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But, in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow, this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember, what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here, have, thus far, so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.